Good morning and welcome. This is Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Choma Ukohe.
Well, let's kickstart today with all that we have for our newspaper headlines. And right after that will be our main conversation also for today. While we get everything all produced and sorted out for you, please do well to be part of our community. Have a say in what we say. You can always reach and find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. We have joining us from Saitama in Japan,
John
Akirele. Thank you so very much for your time. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you, John.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. So let's kickstart today with an interesting story.
We'll be looking at the story of the boat driver that was assaulted, and as of yesterday, he apologized to the House of Representatives Lawmaker. That's the Alex Ikwechege, the man that he actually spoke about. So Stephen Abuwasia, the boat driver assaulted by Alex Ikwechege, a member of the House of Representatives, has apologized to the lawmaker. The incident occurred on October 27, 2024 in Maitama, Abuja, when Ikwechege, a member of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, slapped and insulted Abuwasia after the driver asked him to approach the car to receive his package. He was arraigned at the magistrate court in Kuje, Abuja, where he pleaded not guilty to a 3-count charge. He was granted the 500,000 naira bail, and this case was adjourned to November 8, 2024. But now, in a now viral video, which was yesterday, the boat driver apologized to the lawmaker for provoking him to anger. John, you are a public affairs commentator, and should we say this is a damage control apology, or do we say he's under duress and he was forced to actually come give this apology? Because from the video that trended or was all over social media, this was a man that was angry and know he was trampled upon, and Nigerians came out to actually speak for him, and all of a sudden he is apologizing. From your end, what do you suspect is going on here?
You see, the case of that young man is an example of Nigeria and Nigerians. So Czech people have been fighting for the liberation of Nigerian soul. We want good governance. Check them. Check them. They have all been repaid with this kind of actions. Now, people who spoke on your behalf, who raised their voices, who used their platform to get justice for you, how do you make them look like now? You have made them to look so stupid. Because the culprit himself, you have restored that ego back to him. And I think it's a slap on Nigerians what that young man did by apologizing. Personally, I'm disgusted. Because one thing that the political class know is that once the people rise up, they know they cannot stand that wrath of the people. And so when you have one used as a scapegoat, it sends a signal to others. Don't also forget that we've had such a case of Senator Samba Ambo at the sex toy shop that slapped somebody. Do you understand? So what it means is that these are also humans. And so there are times that they can be emotional. But when we have people who are in that kind of leadership position, who are emotional, we should use one as an example to others, so that others will understand that this position we are occupying is a trustee for the people. And at any point in time, we can leave. And so the position should not be something that you use as high-handedness over the people. No. Because tomorrow you can cease to be an honorable member. At that point in time that you should be an honorable member, we not start saying to people, do you know who I am? I'm an ex-assembly member. I'm an ex-house of rep member. Who gives a damn about that? But that also points to one critical thing is about the makeup of our society. That's the problem. And so that is why you see the younger ones, everybody wants to strive for power at all costs. They want to strive to make money at all costs. And they don't care who they can trample upon to get to that position. Why? Because they see that power, is the only thing that happens. But when we come to a country where, even if you, look at the American election, for example. Even though there is a power of incumbency, Donald Trump won the election. Biden had to come and say, we respect the decision of the people. We should learn from people like that. We will not say because I'm the sitting president I can use all parameters of the government to make the election come my way. Just like we should have our own clan, the power of occupancy. We use that against the people instead of to allow the people to travel. So that is what we have seen again. The power of occupancy is what has transformed to the case of the senator who can say, or the assembly can say, okay, we must apologize. But that young man apologizing, what he did, let me say in just simple terms, is that he has discouraged other young Nigerians who want to stand for the right of other people.
Yes,
because they even stand for the right people.
Yes, because I actually wanted to ask you, what do you think is the function that makes it possible for activists to stand their ground? Very Dark Man is one example of an activist who has stood his ground, no matter, who comes to him, no matter, the situation that is placed before him. What do you think are those things that can make an individual to stand by what he believes in continuously?
That comes to the nature and the nurture of the people. The Niger Delta people, and I'm proud to say to you that I'm not so proud of German. The Niger Delta blood, except you are a bastard, sorry for that word.
Yeah.
There's no German who that will agree for you. They don't agree. No agree for anybody in Niger language. Now it shows that once you know your right and you stand on your right, nobody can move you from that your right. Okay? Now, that is also talking about the personal conviction of yourself. And as a nation, as a country, check it out. Look at Nigerians all across the globe. It's only Nigeria that don't prosper. Outside the country, you see them do well. And then, they stand their ground, even against racism. They stand their ground against maladministration in other foreign countries. But in our own place, it does not happen. So for me, I think one thing that the political have used continually is poverty, is education. So the more they keep you uneducated, the more they keep you in that state of begging, where you are at their beck and call, where you are at their mercy. Do you understand? Then you see them as your emperors. Let me tell you, the political class knows that if every Nigerian is educated and we have a working system, there is hardly a country where people come to this place and take 5,000. Who will come and take 5,000 from you?
Very true.
So that's why they don't want a working system. Okay. Because they know a working system will not allow all of these their abnormalities.
Okay, thank you so much, John. Before we get into the next paper or the next daily, now let's look at this from another angle. What if this young man is under duress to apologize because his life has been threatened? Or maybe he has been given an ultimatum that if he does not, because Mr. Alex at this point, a lot of persons never got to know him. But this particular case actually brought him to limelight, if we'll tell ourselves the truth. Nobody knew Alex existed, and he's now being known for something that is not pleasant. And he felt, oh, his name is on the line, and the best way to actually clear his image was to use the same person as a puppet to clear his name. Now, what if it's from that angle? What is your answer to that?
I think our political class needs to understand that the best damage control is the one people can see for themselves. Now you are just said now that what if this young man is under duress? That's the school of thought. And there are millions of people who share that same school of thought with you. Do you understand? But what I think our political class needs to understand is that we are all humans. We can make mistakes. But let the people see the genuineness of your repentance. See, people will know. Like, maybe from your secretary can say, Oga have changed you. Oga, when Oga comes to office now, Oga used to greet us first. Good morning. Now, they would have seen that indeed there's that soberness and repentance from you as an individual. And so, from your own household, from your own office, that testimony will go out that I'm a secretary. And even after that issue, when he comes into the office, he greets us every morning. If he's going, he greets us good night. He asks if you have eaten, now he's a bit pampering, caring about all of his tasks now. Now that would have shown that you are seeing a changed man. Because the whole essence of this case is not to name shame him, is to correct that evil part of him that is not normal. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And so that's why we have correctional homes. When people have criminal, for them to be corrected, and when they come back, they become better. But in our own case, when they go in, they don't become better when they come out. Do you understand? So the case now is a case of him being genuinely repentant of his bad deeds and showing to Nigerians that Nigerians have made mistake and have corrected my mistake. And he started on a good note, and the good note was for him to have apologized on the floor of the house, because he understood the power of institution, that House of Assembly have been in existence before he was born. Even after his death, even if he's 170 years old, after his death, House of Assembly will still be in existence. That's an institution. And so nobody should derogate the institution. And that's what we're talking about. The institutions are very paramount, and we should keep them sacred, irrespective of who is in position at this point in time. So for me, either the guy is on duress or is not on duress, the true soberness Nigerians will know and see from their own actions and inactions.
All right, thank you so very much. Now, quickly, let's move on to the Punch newspaper. We have the big story here. South Africa, 7 countries queue to lift Dangote refinery fuel. And marketers await NMDPRA's approval for import license.
Okay, moving on, still on the front page of the Punch newspaper, on the top strip on minimum wage. Workers decry hardship as 7 states delay approval. Details are on page 7.
And also we have a grid collapse. This states ramp up plants for power plants.
Okay, moving on the bottom strip, you find heartbreaking tales of Lagos street sweepers denied minimum wage.
And also we have a very interesting one here. Federal government renovates vice president's Lagos residence with 5 billion naira.
Yeah, still on the bottom strip, we have my son hit his head against concrete floor after 40 canes, 150 frog jumps. That is from the slain Ogun people's father.
All right, but John, let's take a look at this. When we think the government of the day, you've always been, always been on their neck. Telling them, what they should do and what they shouldn't do, corrective that is. But when we think that we've, had it, going well, we still hear news from the federal government doing not Nigerians are not very comfortable with. With federal government renovating vice president's Lagos residence with 5 billion naira, don't you think this is another sad issue again?
You see, my brother, this is under Ogo. Now, you see, I think these people should understand it in simple English. You are a father of a family, and your children are asking you, Daddy, you are hungry. You say there's no money in your hand for them to have breakfast, to buy bread and egg in that morning. But they are seeing you drinking bottles of beer. And you say there's no money. Now, what you are doing is that, number one, those children will see you as an irresponsible father. 1. 2 is that you are creating hatred from your own family by your own ends with your actions, because the children can see that you are enjoying yourself and we, your children, are hungry, and then you say you love us. You don't love us. That is in case of Nigeria and our political leaders. You have said that what you threaten our but there's no money. In a country where there's no money, yet you can still bring out 5 billion for the renovation of a vice presidential lodge in Lagos. Now the question to ask you is this: how many days in a year, last year, did the vice president sleep in that lodge? 2023, how many days did he sleep in that lodge in Lagos? How many days in this year, from January to this November 9th, how many days have he slept in that accommodation? That will tell you that the road that needs to be built, we don't build. The road that's already built, we destroy and say we want to patch and amend. That is lack of priority, that is wastage, that is spending too much on frivolous spending that does not have economic impact and gains. And so these are the people must understand that even if you are saying we should go through pain, make sure that your spendings have economic importance. What is I think Mr. President should understand this one from me personally. That any of your spending, ask yourself, even your ministers, that want to spend 3 million, ask them, what is the economic importance? We do that in economics in secondary school. They ask you, what is the economic importance of this? So if you ask that question, if you are spending 5 billion on that accommodation, what is the economic importance of that residence? How many days will the vice president stay in Lagos? 2 days. Are there no 5-star hotel, 4-star hotel like where the president can stay and pay that for that 2 nights and then get on plane and get back to Abuja? Why waste 5 billion naira when you can do that to do some other better things? Don't also forget that there is a house that was rebuilt, in Abuja, with about 20-something billion naira. So if you look at all of this, it shows insensitivity. It shows a government that that have misplaced priority. And I don't want to think that with the crop of leaders that we have in Nigeria today, have misplaced priorities, looking at the antecedent. And so for me, it's a plea that they should look at these issues. Frivolous spending should be cut down drastically. In fact, be eradicated. Then that message is sent to the people that indeed our government and our political leaders are prudent in their spendings. And so ministers will be prudent, governors will be prudent, local government chairmen will be prudent, and then we can have a sane society. This madness should stop from the top, because this madness is watering down from the presidency to the governor, and then go to the government chairman, then to the councillor, then to the ward, then to the market and leaders, and then everybody is now in a state of chaos and madness, and it must stop now.
Thank you so
much, Jana Kirili. Let's get to the last daily on our decks, and that is the Weekend Trust. And the big story here: detention of minors, unanswered questions. How suspects were picked up from Kano, Kaduna, ferried to Abuja. Our experiences in custody. What the North can learn from this.
All right, we have on the top stream here, hardship, prioritize the Nigerians' welfare, Osibajo tells Tinubu.
Okay, moving on, still on the top stream, a glimpse of India's 8th wonder of the world. Details are on page 29.
All right, so John, let's take a look at two very important, stories here. If you can possible merge them together, prioritize Nigerians' welfare. Sibajo tells Tinubu. Remember, we just finished 8 years of Buhari and Tinubu and Osibajo, which lots of people called the gallows. And of course, we're being introduced to the concentration camp of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the same person that was in charge economically as the vice president is telling the president now to prioritize welfare for Nigerians. Then secondly, if you can add them together, a glimpse of India's 8th wonder of the world. Please speak to us on this.
Thank you very much. I think that is what I said earlier, that political leaders should understand that the position they occupy is transient. Who would have said to him, who would have believed that our beloved Vice President Osibajo would have been a past Vice President? And all that he did then is until now. Now, if you look at people asking one question, were you not a Vice President for 8 years? Is it not under your own leadership that we had this mess? Do you understand? People are claiming that there is no money in the purse of the country, that the country is poorer, and that they led a bankruptcy economy. And so who was the main vice president? It is Osibajo. And he's the leader of the economic team. Yeah. So that is an indictment on him as a person. And so that's why I said that leaders should understand the place of their name, the position, and the legacy they leave there, because even after they go, their names will not leave in people's lips. Now, one thing you cannot take away from President Osibajo is those economic strides and steps he was able to do when the president was not around for about 3-4 months. Now, when the president came, that also tells you the synergy between the president and the vice president. The vice president does not have the autonomy of power. He is subjected to the power of the president. So it is who the president is what matters most, not the vice president. The vice president is just a supporter that still needs the authorization of the president to do some things. And so, to that extent, I wouldn't do that much. But what he is saying is, cut down the cost of all that you're doing. The people will ask him, when you are the vice president, did you see that in your own tenure as the vice president? Because your name and record are 5 and 6. So if you are don't have your own choice. You can say, okay, while you are vice president, I reduce my own salary. While I was vice president, I cut down on spendings of the renovation of my apartment. When I was vice president, so that when you are saying these things, you can talk to the present vice president now. You can listen to you. But during your own tenure, you are the same like yes. So very much, it's my thinking that it's my turn to chop. Just like I said, as my people said, turn by turn. It's to be good turn, and let everybody be chopping it now.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you so very much. I had wanted you to speak to the India's, transition and trajectory from nothing to something, and what Nigerians can learn from it, especially when it comes to leadership.
You see, the thing that we can learn from India is simple. Number one is that they have leaders that are committed to the welfareism of the people. We don't have that in Nigeria. Two, they understand the strength that they have, which is their numbers, and they're utilizing their strength. So let me tell you, there's no part of the world now where you have Indians dominating one industry or the other. And it started as far back as 18th centuries, 19th centuries. In fact, they were even in South Africa at that point in time. Don't forget the case of Mahatma Gandhi, that stood for the Indians in South Africa then against the British rule. Do you understand? To show you that they understood that part. And so India is for the world. Nigeria is the India in Africa. We have the largest population. We have the largest vibrant population of young people. We have the most brilliant set of young people you can find anywhere in the world, who are brilliant, intelligent, resilient, who are creative. But one thing that we lack is that good and purposeful leadership. We lack motivational leadership, we lack intentional leadership, and we lack leaders with political will that can indeed prioritize the welfareism of the Nigerian people. And so these are the questions our leaders must learn. But it's a shame that they go from plane and jet to all of these countries to have conversation. I wonder the kind of conversation they say, in fact, they discuss with these people. If you are discussing with the president of India, you should look at his template and look at yourself. What do we have in common? Population, we have it in common. Do you understand? Brilliant people, we have it in common. Tech, fintechs, we have it in common. Now, can we start using their own template to build our own nation? The answer is yes. And so when you have this kind of conversation, that's where you have vernacular trade, that's where you have that communication, that's why exchange of students from institutions in India to the rest of Nigeria. And then let's see how we can start bringing about this integration into to and from Nigeria and India. Before you know it, we will get to that stage. On the final note, I said to you, the same way we have G7, these are 7 powerful countries of the world. Check this G7. Every of the other continents are represented. Only Africa is not represented. And that's why I tell people that care to listen that Nigeria has a space on that G7 to make it G8. Why? Because we are the world power of Africa. And so it's time that our leaders should understand it's beyond Nigeria, it's for Africa. And so we'll take that leadership position. Every other African country will stay in line. Then we can have our own table as a powerful country in the continent. And so we can be on that table of G7, not begging for crumbs. No, we are not beggars. We have, in fact, we have everything, my brother. In human resources, we have it. Natural resources, we have it. But the only thing bedeviling us is leadership. And so that is something that all of us must come together, sit down, and have a good way for us to choose among us. That we even said it for the Christians. He said, choose among you 7 men full of what? Full of wisdom. But it's a shame that the leaders we have, let me ask you, will you say with their policies that they have done so far, even the past and the present, will you say that they are full of wisdom? That is the rhetorical question that you and every other Nigerian can answer for themselves. On that note, I'll say, God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria. Thank you so much, John Akerele, for your time, and thank you for staying with us. Thank you so much.
We do appreciate you.
We do appreciate it.
All right, that's just about the size of our package for this particular segment. But when we return,
Attorney General insists no law prevents minors from being tried for treason in Nigeria. That conversation is next. Stay with us.